I get emotional affairs are heavy and wrong and blah, blah, blah. But you're not crazy, and you aren't the only person this happened to.
It didn't happen to him, John. He caused it. If you know who Dr. John Deloney is, if you don't, if you never heard of him, he works for Dave Ramsey over at Ramsey Solutions. I think he was in some kind of crisis management for law enforcement. At least I've heard him talk about it. He's not your typical therapist/counselor, but he does offer some solid advice most of the time. But these are two videos that I listened to that I just went, "What are you doing, John? What is this? You're not seeing both sides here." I'm blaming the men and the women in this one, so trust me, I'm not a feminist, I promise. Just bear with me. Now, this guy starts telling John that his marriage has been on the rocks for the past 2 years and his wife is finally filing for divorce, right? Listen to what he tells him. Some men automatically assume that just because, let's just say, you have an emotional affair, you have a physical affair, that just because the wife doesn't automatically the next day go file for divorce, that means that they're there to punish you, that they're there to rake you over the coals the whole time. No. A lot of women, a lot of good women anyway, will still try to stay and work through it, go to counseling, and see if they can rebuild that trust, okay? But it sounds like in this video that this woman, I don't know the whole story, has tried for the last 2 years to rebuild trust in her husband, and she hasn't been successful. But listen to what John tells this guy.
Jason, what's up, Jason?
Hey, Dr. John, how are you?
I'm all right, brother. How about you, man?
I'm okay. Thanks for taking my call today.
Of course. What's up, man?
So I'm going to try to get through this without getting too emotional.
Hey, feel free to get as emotional as you can, man. There's not a lot of space for men to get emotional anymore, and so this is that space for you. It's just you and me and a couple of million people listening.
Thanks.
What's up?
So I am 50 years old. I have been married for what would be 15 years this year, and going through divorce proceedings now. Still trying to convince my wife to pause the proceedings or at least put them off. I had an emotional affair with a coworker in 2022 when my wife found out. It was pretty traumatic, caused a lot of trauma and turmoil in my family. And so I'm sitting in this at 50, just trying to figure.
Yeah, trauma that you caused. I'm sitting here listening. So it's actually been 3 years, not 2, right? Like since he had this emotional affair, and he's basically blown his life up. And you will find out that he is actually a serial cheater. How do you start your life over at 50? It's possible. My husband did it, and he was 50 or 51. He was married for 25 years, and he started over from scratch. But it was so tough. It was hard. He did it. It's possible. It's not the end of the world. You'll get through it. You've caused that, bud. You did.
Like, how do I start over? And what do I do? We have 3 kids, 18, 12, and 10. Kind of been putting it off, telling them about the divorce proceedings. We just told them last Friday, and it was rough.
Yeah. So why now?
I think why now the divorce?
Mm-hmm. Like if you had an emotional affair back in 2022, I mean, we're 3 plus.
23 was my wife had a really hard time dealing with all of it.
Okay.
And without going into too much detail, it was just 23 was a really, really rough year.
Okay.
And so starting in about October of 23, we started trying to.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from his wife. That's why I don't like when people call in and they don't have their spouse on the line, because people tend to downplay what their part is in the turmoil, the problems in the relationship or marriage, right? When they call into these shows, there's a lot of people that they downplay it big time, and I feel like he is too.
About what our next move was. I quit the job that I was working at shortly after, as soon as I could find another job. I didn't want to up and leave a job. Still needed to provide for the family.
Sure.
But the work environment was just bad.
Yeah.
And so I left the job, found another job, and trying to just start over. One of her big questions is why, and I don't know how to answer that, because I look back at it and I don't even know how it happened.
Yeah.
You're full of crap. Everyone knows why. Every single person who's ever cheated in their lives, whether it be emotional or physical or both, you all know why. There's a lot of things that John should have called him to the carpet on this, and he didn't do it.
So, but 23 was rough.
23 was rough. We started over, trying to rebuild in October of 23. Went to some counseling for a little while. Went through 24. We ended up selling our house, trying to downsize, and then it's just the mental part of it is too much for her to deal with. She worries about it constantly. Worries about if I'm talking to somebody or texting somebody or.
Because the trust is broken, yo. It's broken. You will find out here in just a minute that this is a habit, that he's a serial cheater, that this is something he has done over and over and over again. I don't blame her, especially after somebody has done it over and over again. It's a pattern of behavior. If you're going to continuously do it, and then, you look back on somebody's life and you say, well, they did it here, 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 here. Why wouldn't, the next prediction would be, oh, you're going to do it probably 6 months from now, whenever you get bored or whenever, we're not communicating for a couple of days or whatever, you're just going to go out and do it again. So I don't blame her a bit.
We've put stuff in place. I have text messages going to a tablet at our house so that everything is visible. But she keeps asking me the question about why, and I don't know how to explain that.
So there's a lot here. I really wish she was on the phone because I want to hear her story. Because I guess here's what
I
would
do
say.
too.
Her telling you, I just can't get over the fact that you had emotional feelings for somebody else. It's not true. And so at some level, she's choosing to stay in this and choosing to stay in this and choosing to stay in this.
No, because I do believe it, because it happened to me. I couldn't get over it. Before my husband, I was with somebody for 9 years, and I'm not going to get into it. It's not important. The details are not important. But what is important is that he did the same thing. He cheated on me. There was no way that I could trust him. There was no way. But now he wasn't willing to go as far as this guy did. And we weren't married, but he wasn't willing to show me his phone. He wasn't willing to do those things. So I was like, of course I wouldn't. Why would I trust him if he's not willing to share these things with me? Because I caught him like 4 separate times talking to other women. And I was like, and he wouldn't tell me why, and he wouldn't break up with me. And it was like, no, you need to just tell me that you don't want to be with me anymore. And he never would tell me that. So I had to just finally just walk away and just be done with him because I knew that I could never trust him again. John is wrong about that. It's no, I could never trust this human being with anything ever again. And sometimes you just don't. You can forgive that person and you can move on. I still would never trust him. I would never trust him. And why would you after somebody's done that over and over and over again?
And so I would want to know what
they've proven to you that they have some deep character flaws and that they need help with.
What this is accomplishing for her, where she's trying to go with this, but she's not on the phone, so I can only talk to you. So back me up to 2020. We're coming out.
What do you mean, John? What do you mean she's trying to accomplish? She wants to know why. She wants to know why he did it, and he keeps telling her that he doesn't know why. So what is so hard for you to understand about that? She just wants an answer. What is it about her? Or is it because she was just giving you attention and I wasn't? You need to just tell me why. At the beginning of the call, you say, well, you just don't know how it happened. You guys are so full of crap. You're up to your freaking eyeballs in it. You're full of crap.
But I mean, we're in the middle of COVID. It's a chaotic nightmare, depending on where you live. And you're up north, and so I'm assuming it was pretty rough. And then you're in 2021, and people are just trying to figure out what day it is. And some people are in it, some people are out of it. It's chaotic. It's a post-election. It's just a madhouse. And then 2022, walk me through what happened with a coworker.
So it started as just I worked in a manufacturing environment where there was a ton of people, and it just started with hey, really appreciate your help. You do a great job, this sort of thing. And then as the text messages progressed, they just progressed and turned into oh man, I love being around you, or I love talking to you. It's oh, I love you too, and it just escalated into this emotional.
I'm gonna say this again. Why were you texting her? Why were you texting her to begin with? John should have called this out. There should have been zero communication between the two of you outside of work. Period.
And it was never became a physical thing. We never saw each other outside of work. It was always at work.
That's this. What are you talking about? You said you were texting. It was never a physical thing outside of work. Maybe not physical, but you were communicating outside of work. You were texting each other, dude.
There was always people around. It was never a physical affair. It was honestly, like, if I'm being honest, it almost like it just fed my ego.
Of course it did.
He's minimizing this because what these people don't understand, what a lot of people don't understand, is that an emotional affair can be just as devastating as a physical affair. That's supposed to be something sacred. I mean, physical is sacred too, but deep within, in your heart, like if you're sharing intimate things with somebody on an emotional level, that is a cut too deep for a lot of women.
It felt good.
Right.
Yeah. Did y'all ever send each other naked pictures or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
So back me all the way.
And things were.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Men will lie and lie and lie when it comes to that kind of stuff. He'll admit up to a point, but I bet they sent each other nudes.
Right. I worked in an environment where I literally worked 6 to 7 days, 12 to 15-hour days.
Right. So that's what I want to get to the context here, because this often happens. Like the way you described it was perfect in that it almost always happens. This isn't 1,000%, I mean 100% of the time, but it almost always what you're talking about occurs from two people at home that have gotten in the rut of life. And they've stopped doing what I call the small attenuating behaviors.
Yep.
The gentle touches on the arm, the checking in once a day, or twice a day, or 3 times a day. People stop sleeping together. People just get into, and this is very common coming out of COVID, people became very good co-managers of their house. You do this task, I'll do this task.
Yes.
And you had 2 little ones, right? So you had what, a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old or something.
And that's why it's so vital to never stop doing the little things. Never stop dating your spouse, right? Like every day when I come home from work, because I work outside of the home, my husband usually works here, When I come home from work, he always greets me at the door. He always kisses me. He always comes up. It's every single day, y'all. Every single day, every day. He is such a gentleman. He is so amazing. He'll come in the kitchen when I'm cooking. He always praises my cooking. He always thanks me for cooking. I could not ask for a better husband. That's just the truth. But once you guys stop connecting on that level, even just for the little things, like we'll go sit on the couch and watch TV. I'm laying in between his legs on the sectional, like while we're watching TV. And he pets me, he'll be rubbing me and petting me while we're watching TV. Once you stop dating and once you stop showing each other those little hints of affection, that they mean the world. That distance is created between the two of you. And then you just keep getting further and further and further apart. And then it's really hard to find your way back.
Teenager trying to navigate homeschool. Your wife was probably running up and down a task list every day. You were going to work 6 or 7 hours a day, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, trying to fight, trying to do this. And suddenly 1 degree of separation, I'll do this set of tasks, you do this set of tasks, turn into we're roommates and we're co-managers and we're just trying to survive this chaos. One person's on their phone, the other person's on their phone, and then somebody at work says, man, you're hilarious. Or one person at work.
I don't care. I don't care. I know that John is just laying the groundwork and trying to get him to understand how it happens, but there's still no excuse for it. Look, I don't care. And now between the two of them, since this guy is a serial cheater, a serial emotional affair haver, if you will, the relationship dynamic is different between the two of them. But between me and my husband, I don't care if he flirts with women. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. He doesn't care if I flirt with men. And vice versa. Like, we don't care because we tell each other about it when it happens. We'll be out in public. And I've watched women come up to him and tell him how handsome he is. It's happened before. Or he has witnessed like men like goggling at me. I'm not nothing to write home about, but it's happened before. So, but we're open about it. We're honest about it. We've been out in public and I'll see somebody attractive. Like, we're not blind. We all know when someone is attractive. We make it a point, but we make it a point to say something. And we'll be out in public and be like, check her out. Like, look at her. I'll say that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it, with admiring and pointing out the obvious, pointing out that there are beautiful people in the world. But we just don't care about the flirting. It doesn't bother us. We are open about it. But once you flirt with somebody and then you take that and you kind of set it aside as like your little nest egg, you like your little secret, like your little emotional nest egg, like that you're going to pull from, and you're not going to share that with your spouse and say, look, somebody flirted with me, or, whatever. If you're going to hide that and make it a secret, well, secrets destroy marriages, obviously. But if you're not going to share that with your spouse, then yeah, that's pretty scummy. Excuse me, I just spit. Sorry, that's gross.
It gives you a very human, I see you and I appreciate you. And it feels good.
Yeah.
Right? It feels good.
It's getting
And
hot
then you
in
start having
here.
conversations there that either
I have to
she
open
doesn't
my
want to
door
have
in
at
a
home,
minute.
or you don't want to have at home, or this is a weird thing to say out loud, but you get to a place where you're co-managing the house, but you don't know how to even go back to or start over, how to have those, hey, checking in, how are you?
Yes.
Because it just becomes a taskless rundown. You're just managing the place, right?
Yes.
And then somebody says, hey, this feels good. So I want to say this. I get emotional affairs are heavy and wrong and all blah, blah, blah. But you're not crazy, and you aren't the only person this happened to.
It didn't happen to him, John. He caused it. I cannot stand it. I've heard him say this multiple times. It didn't happen to him. It didn't just happen. Oh, whoops, I just slipped and fell. No, he caused it. He fed into it. And he started texting her whenever he shouldn't have been texting her, period. Once he saw that she was getting kind of flirty and stuff, that should have been a big red flag for him. And he should have turned it and said, look, this is inappropriate and I'm just not going to do it. If he thought that he was at risk for cheating on his wife, then he should have been the bigger man, been the bigger person and said, I can't do this. I'm sorry. It's wrong. And I feel scummy, doing that. I couldn't do that to my wife. But it didn't just happen to him. He caused it.
There were other flirtatious text messages,
of course,
as well with other people.
Okay.
And so that piles on top of it. I wasn't in an environment where I could always be available to talk. So there were times where I would get calls at work and I would go, look,
he's a serial cheater.
I can deal with this right now. You're going to have to manage that at home because I don't have the time to do it right now.
Right.
And so all of that replays, right? It replays everything from the last 11 years that I worked at the place, because it was just, it was chaos.
Well, I mean, is this a serial thing you've been doing for basically hiding from your home
Yep.
and work 6 to 7 days a week?
Yep.
And getting all of your emotional, like your productivity, your intentionality, and now your emotionals, is that all being met somewhere not in your home?
So, yes. So
well, at least he admits it.
At that job, she begged me to, not begged me, but she asked me to quit the job. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how do you want me to quit the job? We have kids. I've got to provide. And I thought that was my job. I thought my role was, I've got to go, I got to make this amount of money so that we can do these vacations and we can afford this house and we can afford these cars.
Sure.
And like, I look back at it now and none of it mattered.
Correct.
Not one bit of it. Yeah. Right. But at the time, it was just, I got to go to work. Yeah. I got to do it. And
yeah, but you later, like earlier, you said that you got a different job, right? So unless you live out in the sticks like we do, like where there's not much, there's not much opportunity here. Like that's why I clean houses for a living, because there's really not much for me to do out here. With 11 years of work experience in that same industry, in manufacturing industry, it sounds like you got another job just fine, but yet you're talking about the fact that you made excuses to your wife. Well, I can't quit the job. I can't do this and I can't do that. No, that was just another excuse so you could stay and have your little cutesy work wife. That was why.
Was going to work a way to not be at home?
No, I loved being at home. Like I loved being at home with my wife and kids. It just was the money was fantastic.
Take me to right this second. Why did she file for divorce?
Because she cannot trust him, because he has already told you that he was a serial cheater, John. She can't do it anymore. She has discovered that he is probably displaying the same exact behaviors again, and she just can't, regardless of the fact that she's able to track his texts and stuff, she can't do it. She cannot bring herself to do it. She can't trust him again. Why would you stay with somebody that is just going to keep screwing around on you? If your spouse is being a philanderer, then no. I don't expect them to stay together.
She filed because of what happened and that she can't deal with the drama. So I, back all the way up to the beginning of our marriage, I was the one that put in place, hey, we don't ride in cars with people of opposite sex. We set these boundaries. We don't have these conversations. This is how we do it. And then I would have violated every single one.
Sure.
Right?
Do you have any idea what she thinks she is going to accomplish by separating the family up?
For starters, she's not going to be with a cheater anymore, and she's going to teach her kids that this is not how you treat your wife. This is not how a man treats his wife. That a woman deserves better than this. It's not right. If the situation was reversed, everybody would be coming for this woman. Like if it was a woman that called in and was the one sitting there boohooing and crying about it, they'd be coming for her. John seems annoyed by this. Like he keeps squinting his eyes and stuff. It seems like he's really too much on this guy's side whenever he needs to look at it from an unbiased point of view, and he's not. He doesn't like the fact that, the wife is saying that she can't trust him again. And he said, no, well, that's BS. She can trust. No, she's choosing not to. She's not going to because she can't bring herself to anymore because this guy is going to continue to do it.
And so she's got other past trauma too, but this has been really, really difficult.
Do you have any idea what she thinks she is going to accomplish by separating the family up?
I think she thinks she won't have to worry about what I'm doing. I think for her, if the divorce is final, then she doesn't have to worry about what I'm doing or who I'm talking to.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she cannot trust you that you have not actually went and physically had an affair with somebody on top of this. Because she knows it'd be putting her own health in jeopardy. If you're willing to go the emotional route, what makes her believe that you wouldn't be willing to do the physical too. So it's like you're willing to line step here, but not here. I can totally see it from her perspective. No, I don't blame her. She needs to file for divorce because regardless of how repentant this guy seems like he is crying right now. He is upset because he knows that like they're in the middle of divorce proceedings right now, and he didn't think she'd ever do it. That's why.
And I've tried to say, like, the divorce is just a piece of paper that says we're not married anymore. Because I still care. I love my wife very much. And I've told her I'll do whatever it takes.
I know. I can hear that. So is she?
No, you won't, because you have continued to show her that. And who's to say that you haven't done it since then, bro? Because you said there were many other people that you were talking to before. So you're telling us that for the past 3 years, you haven't done any of that? Or the past 2 years since 2023 or 2022, that you haven't done any of it? Whenever you were habitually doing it back then and made it a pattern and we're just doing it. So you're telling us that you went cold turkey and you completely stopped. That is really hard to grasp. And that is really hard for somebody probably like her to believe because you did it so often. So I really don't blame her.
Working on it? I know she's filed, but
I don't think so. I still have hope, and I think there's a part of her, like, because we still live together, we still live in the same house.
Yeah.
And so I think she wants to. She just doesn't know how and can't get the answers that she's looking for.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to give them to her because, like I said, I look back at it and I don't know how.
Just be honest. Now listen.
To that point,
it doesn't matter how you got there, but if you.
He says whenever he looks back on it, he doesn't know how he got there. No, you're full of crap. You're still lying. That's why she's angry, and that's why she's still going through divorce proceedings. Because if you cannot give her an answer as to why, then she's going to go through with it, dude. You've got to be honest with yourself and be honest with her. And if you're not going to be honest, then what's the point? Then she's going to be like, okay, well, if you can't be honest with me, then I'm done. And that's exactly what happened in my position. In my experience was, if you can't be honest, then I'm done. I'm done. So we were.
Done and said, I was a shell of a person, and instead of coming home for emotional security and emotional safety and emotional interactions, I felt good to get it from someone else, and I went down a rabbit hole, and I screwed up.
Yes.
Okay, so what else is she?
But now you're just giving him an out. Now you're giving him something that he can actually tell her to see if maybe she'll be satisfied with that answer. Do you not understand that? I don't know why you told him that, because now he's going to use that as the reason to please. Okay, now will you please stay? No, I think she's already made up her mind.
She wants to know why.
I mean, you've told her why.
And I can't. Yeah.
So here's the.
No, he hasn't, because through this call, he has said that he didn't know why. That's all he said. He has said consistently that he didn't know why he did it. He hasn't given her a reason. I'm sorry, he hasn't.
What that tells me is she's searching for a feeling that won't come. The feeling that she's searching for will only come on the other end of action. Both of y'all working together. And unfortunately, I'm afraid she's going to try to get that feeling on the other side of this separation, the other side of this divorce, this finality, and it's not going to be there either. It's going to be worse.
Right.
And here's the deal. You've heard my show. If you've listened to my show before, you know I'm pretty rough on men because I feel like I'm one, right? And I can speak from that experience. I hear it in your voice, man.
No, you're not, bro. Like, I've seen you go really easy on a lot of men. I have. Like, there's a lot of things that you should have said this call and you didn't.
I hear repentance in your voice, and I hear trying to make it right and trying to build something.
He's repentant because now for the past, like, she's finally filed. When the rubber meets the road, now I've been there too. Oh, now you're sorry. Now, since I'm done, now that I'm walking away, you want to cry. You broke up our family. This is on you. And that's exactly what he needs to tell his children, because John was framing it as like she's breaking up their family. No, John, she's not breaking up their family. He broke up their family. How many times have I heard you on your show say that you blew up your family? You blew up your marriage because you had this affair. It's already done. And the fact that she doesn't want to build something new because she can't trust him, that's on her. That's her call. That's her decision. No, you're not going to put it on her because she's not the one who did it.
And also here, she is hoping for a feeling, a sense of this, and that's not going to come without a ton of work on her end too.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to end this right here because the call's almost over. Just because somebody is repentant and sorry doesn't mean that you have to take them back. It doesn't mean that. But John is basically setting the expectation of, well, since he is repentant and sorry and he swears never to do it again or whatever, that the expectation should be that she will take him back and that she should be willing to build something completely brand new with him because their old marriage is over and blah, blah, blah. No, that's her choice. She can move on. Okay. Let's go to the next video because this one's even better because this has got a man and wife that actually did call into the show.
All right, so Robin, you called. So what is Phil doing or not doing? I'm just assuming that's how this is going to go.
Oh, yeah. Hey, so I'll just get straight to the question.
You know what? I'm so thankful that my therapist is nothing like him. And it's nothing, I'm not saying anything bad about him because I listen to him all the time. My therapist is nothing like that. You know, John does this stuff like he'll say, take a deep breath, hold it in for me. Now drop your shoulders and exhale. And somebody will start not rambling, but trying to get their story out pretty quick and he'll stop them. That annoys me. Just let them say what they need to say and then cut them off when you feel like it's necessary. But no, let them get it out. Let them get it out. No, I can't stand it when he cuts people off, especially whenever they first call in. It drives me nuts. And then he'll say stuff like, I want you to close your eyes. Then open them. Now I want you to make a fist. And I want you to put it right in the center of your chest. What is that going to do for me, John? What is that? What are you talking about? What is wrong with you? That's some hippy dippy new age therapy crap. I don't know what you're talking about.
Being too hard on my husband, expecting him to attend social events. And I guess the backstory, not necessarily a big backstory, he works Monday through Friday, and I know at the end of the week he's zapped, and most events that we've been attending lately have been on the weekend, and there's been some pushback to attend a lot of these events because he wants his downtime, and I'm like, hey, like, we're a family. There are either birthday parties or bridal showers for couples and families, and I kind of need you to step up and go with me. And
why are you asking your husband to go to a bridal shower? Look, I'm going to a baby shower Saturday. My husband's going to go spend time with the grandkids while I go do that because, you know, we'll ride together and he'll drop me off and then he'll go spend time with the grandbabies and then he'll come back and pick me up. But expecting your husband to go to bridal showers with you? Why? Why?
You know, the other part of me, I'm like, you know, I get that he's tired. He stays at home or he works remote and he watches our son at the same time when I'm away on my shifts. So I respect the fact that he also probably...
So he works and he watches the kid? Oh, my gosh.
Get some rest. And I guess I also look at my position. I'm working 24-hour shifts. I'm wiped out, but I also feel it's incredibly important to show up for the people in our lives. And I have that expectation that my husband
Firefighter.
goes with me to these events. To me, if he doesn't show up, which I've allowed in the past, it's embarrassing.
Which you've allowed. Fantastic. It's awesome.
I've allowed it.
This is so great. Awesome. Phil, you're grounded. You're grounded. No dessert, Phil.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, man.
all authority, but I want my spouse to be there.
Okay, I want you to say that. That's what I care about. So, what kind of shift work do you do, Robin?
I'm a firefighter, so I work 24 on, 48 off.
Okay.
And
Phil, what do you do, bud?
I just like IT stuff, kind of nerdy stuff.
It's kind of taking over the world. That's cool. Just lo-fi, run everything. Cool. All right. So, how long you all been married?
8 years now.
Okay. And you have how many little ones?
We have
One
one
4-year-old.
Okay. So, I'll let Phil speak. Phil, what's your thought on the other side of this?
Let's hear
All
this.
right, so my thought is I get maybe 1 to 3 days a month where I have the opportunity, because she doesn't always, it doesn't always line up where she has weekends off. So most weekends she's either working one day. And so that gives me like 1 to 3 days maybe where I have the opportunity to have my own social. I don't have much of a social life, and I voice her, it's kind of making me drown. And kind of what happens is when we go to these events, like the reason she called us because we got into it, and I'll admit I handled it like a child. But we went to a wedding, and it was like 100 degrees out, and I was just like, during the ceremony, he's like, I'm not going to be there because our little one's going to be running around. I'm going to be chasing him around. And then like for the tail, like there wasn't even a seat for the 3 of us. Like there's only 2 seats for the 3 of us and 2 plates. And so I was just like the whole time, I was like, I told you I should just stayed home with him, and you should have just gone to the wedding and enjoyed yourself. And now I'm just chasing him around nonstop. And we had another wedding.
Why didn't you hire a babysitter? I think later on he says that they're maybe not in the financial position to do that. On a firefighter's salary though, and you're working in IT? No, you can. If you go to church, find somebody to watch your kid. Okay? There's plenty of kids that go to church. There's plenty of 17, 18-year-olds. It teaches them a lot whenever they babysit. I would 1,000% hire a babysitter. Why aren't you? Because later on in the video, he talks about how, I guess, his mother-in-law watches the baby sometimes. Being made to chase your son, all 3 of us are coming to the wedding, but I get stuck as babysitter whenever I'm with him all day long. That's not right. No. We're not going to do that. So hire a babysitter. You guys are making plenty of money and you can afford it. So hire a babysitter. And it's not right for her to put him on the spot either. Like, if he doesn't want to go, then he shouldn't have to go. I think it's messed up. I think it's messed up that you expect him to go to like, how many events are you going to a month? Maybe for a wedding, but leave your kid with a babysitter, like a normal human being.
This one was last, but half the event was just me chasing our son around, and I even told her,
Right.
you can't just keep leaving. It said like a joke, like, you can't just abandon us and just go off and do your thing while I have to chase him around all day. And so I kind of feel like, she does a lot of, she has a lot more opportunity to hang out with friends, and she was doing like book nights or clubs or nerdy stuff like that and trivia nights. And it's just like, I just kind of need, some time.
Yeah, what she doing, and see, he watches him while he works too, but whenever she gets time off, she goes and does her thing and expects him to watch him. And then maybe once a month, their mother-in-law or his mother-in-law watches the kid, right? She expects him to watch the baby all the time. You're his mother. If he doesn't have a social life, like he wants to be with his ride or dies, because he says that later on, let him do that once a month. Once a month especially. Let him go blow off some steam. You keep the baby. He has him every day. That is messed up. It kills me whenever these parents do not try to split time. And they live in the same house. They're married. And you don't try to split time with your baby. You should want to relieve your husband because he's been working all day and watching him. What is wrong with these women? What is wrong? I don't understand it.
Why don't you guys get a babysitter when you go to some of these things?
We don't have a lot of options.
Okay.
You say you don't have a lot. You're full of crap. You can get a babysitter.
When we
There's something in my teeth.
Yeah, like usually my mom is pretty much the one that does it. And it's like, and maybe like once a month, and then it's just like, well, let's, do something else.
His mom.
So we try and use it for like our
His mom.
If I didn't know better, I would think that my wife actually is paying you two to call in to have this question. This hits so close to home. It's wild. It's wild. And I can walk through some of the important big rocks, and then I can just tell you how we handle it in my house. Okay.
May I elaborate just a little bit more?
Elaborate away. What I've got so far is that you hate your husband and your kid, and you like to go to his party, and he has to run around and chase them because you're kind of an abandonment mom. But whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the last wedding we went to, I was in the wedding party, so I did have to help out. But proceed. It turns into more of like the separation of your friends and my friends situation. And when it's quote unquote my friend's events, he kind of sabotages and gets into this really grumpy mood and kind of ruins the time or won't socialize. And it's like he's great at socializing. He's great at talking.
Then don't make him go. He told you he didn't want to go. Look, there's been plenty of times where I've went places that I didn't really feel like I was welcome or I didn't want to be at, but I put on a smile, but I didn't try to sabotage or anything. My husband, there have been a few times to where he would get in a grumpy mood. I have made it very clear that you don't have to go. You can stay here. We don't have to do this. That doesn't happen anymore, but I'm saying that because we know we're effective communicators. So, if you don't want to go, don't go. Like, I'll just go. He is of the belief that, there are certain events and things that I go to that he feels like, I'm her husband and I want to show up for her too. Self-sabotaging. I don't blame him, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you don't have to act that way either. But he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go. You expect him to be Mr. Jolly, Mr. Rogers, yeah. You expect him to act that way, to be like shooting confetti out of his butt.
Oh, look at that!
It's like a rainbow exploded!
Out of his butt. That's hilarious.
He's not going to be. He's not going to be jumping and leaping for joy. It's something that he said that he didn't want to go to. This isn't his thing. It's not something he likes going to.
But he chooses to just kind of pout and not be present.
And I can see that. And like there's 100%. That's me, by the way. That's me.
Mm.
Or in some instances, that's my wife. Okay. I'm going to go to this thing. You're demanding my presence. I'll be there. But I'm going to make sure everybody around me knows that I'm radioactive and I don't want to be here.
Right.
The other side of that, Phil, I'll put you on the spot because y'all called. And I just ask y'all to be honest and don't be mean to each other when this call is over. Is that cool?
Oh, we won't be.
How often do you go to these things and not like who your wife becomes when she's there?
Not really. I guess when it's like to go back when it's like my friends, I feel like I'm kind of being micromanaged to make sure I'm, behaving or being, telling. I guess like it's almost like my mom's there.
Then it sounds like you need to just go hang with your friends without your wife. Like unless the wives are there, like if the other wives are there with y'all and y'all are all hanging out as couples, then fine. But if she still does the micromanaging crap, then I would call her out on it and say, would you just leave me alone? Like, just let me have a good time. What is your problem? Yeah, that wouldn't go over good in my house if my husband tried to do that to me, or if I tried to. I don't do that. I don't think I've ever done that. No, we just live our lives. We just go have fun. We don't sit there and watch each other like hawks whenever we're out somewhere making sure that we're doing this or doing that. That's weird. He needs at least once a month where he can go hang with his boys. One time a month, you guys go out on a date. One time a month to go out on a date. One time a month, let him just be a homebody. If you got an event to go to, you go right ahead, sweetheart. Still get a babysitter for both. And then the third, just let him rest and you watch the baby while he can go in the room and go take a nap or go take a hot bath or a shower. That's what needs to happen.
Watching over me.
That's exactly what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
You don't like who your wife becomes?
Kind of, but when it's like curbside or something, then it's fine. It's great.
It's great, but you don't want to be there.
Yeah, no. I don't want to be anywhere else.
Why is that?
I don't.
Not his
I don't know,
cup
I
of
just wanna
tea.
Have a day to myself.
He's tired, bro. He's not one of these people that likes to go to social events constantly. I can tell. I can hear it in his voice. It annoys him. Some people are not built that way. They're more introverted. If they're with their own friends, it's different, but they're not people persons. They're not people. They're not, it's not their thing.
What's underneath that?
I don't have much of a social life, I guess.
There's nothing underneath that.
So what I'm hearing is a social offering on the table. What makes that social offering not something you want to be a part of?
Because I want to. Okay, then I get that. I want I want to be with my ride or dies.
Okay.
And he just wants to have a freaking day off to where he can just rest.
Are your ride or dies? Is there no room for any more ride or dies?
No. I mean, I have people from church that I'm friends with. Me and my husband have got a couple friends. But as far as my ride or dies, no. No. I mean, you can make new friends, obviously, but my ride or dies are my 4 girls. They're my ride or dies. That forever. And no. there's no more room for friends, but not ride or dies.
And then we're meeting a couple. I think we've added some new pretty solid friends, mutual friends over because we moved, and so now we're kind of it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from like our.
Dang, this is 25 minutes long. I didn't realize it was this long. I'm gonna have to speed it up a little bit more. It's just hard to hear him a little bit.
Friends, we're meeting some new people now, and that's cool when we hang out with them. I enjoy hanging out with those people.
But what I want to get to is, are you grieving loss? Because you're at the 8-year mark, and there's a natural settling in, like, oh, this is our life. And we have a little kid, and we both have jobs, and you married a first responder, so there comes with that innate built-in stress. And I'm the son of a policeman, and so most of my time's been running around policemen, just a little bit of firefighters, and so I get to make a firefighter joke. Is that cool, Robin? It's easy. Like the old police joke is, ooh, we have to work every day, right? So there's that, right? And so there's the illusion that Robin's just sitting at home, like doing yoga all day while you're right, and while you're wrangling kids, and we're.
I would love to be a firefighter, and I'll tell you why. Like, if I had the body for it, I would. If I had the strength, I would. That's another one of them jobs that it seems like only men should be. Like, unless you can actually carry full-grown men on your back to rescue them out of a building, I don't think you should be a firefighter. Yes, I'm talking about women. If you can't do that, if you can't carry a 150, 160-pound man on your back, then you shouldn't be a firefighter, period. Same goes for the military and all that.
There's this understanding that this is kind of what our life is. And the challenge, I think, happens is, Robin, you have this picture of what you want this thing to look like. And it is, we're social, and we're cool, and we're hip. And in fact, I'm going to hit the pendulum because people think I'm this firefighter, tough woman, first responder. But I go to parties, and I dance, and we have fun. And then your husband is all day wrangling. And he's like, dude, when I'm off, I unplug, and I just lock the door. And there's a sense of dropping your shoulders, and it's like, oh, this is our life. And until you acknowledge and grieve that, and what I mean by grief is not a negative grief, nobody died. But where my wife and I had to get was, I love going to stand-up comedy shows. I went to 2 different shows this weekend. I love going to punk rock shows. You should see my lineup. I love hanging out with my wife more than anybody else. She doesn't like those two worlds. And so for so long, it made me sad that I thought she was choosing something else other than me. And it wasn't until I realized, oh, no, I'm showing up like a puppy. Like, maybe this time I get a treat, maybe this time I get a treat. And it was never that. It wasn't until we sat down and she said, hey, these environments, I don't like them. They make me uncomfortable. But I love you. You pick one show like a semester, I'm going to go. And I'm going to have a good time. You pick one comedy show, and I'm going to laugh hard. And what I've had to do is do the work of calling other friends. And so I buy a couple tickets every time I invite rando people. And
there's plenty of things that I like to go do that my husband would prefer not to do. He's a musician, entertainer, songwriter, singer-songwriter. He's been doing it for many years, over 50 years. He's not a concert person. It drives him absolutely. I love concerts, okay? Because I'm not somebody who is musically inclined, but I love music and I love concerts. He's not that way because he would rather be on that stage than in the crowd. And it drives him absolutely bonkers to go to a concert. He can't stand it. Like he'll sway and he'll do it, tap his foot. It's good music, but it does. It gets under his skin because he wants to be on that stage playing because he loves playing so much. And I understand that and relate to that because that's how I feel about basketball. I cannot watch it on TV. I can't watch it on TV. I have to go do it. It drives me nuts. I will not watch it. Will not watch somebody play. I will go play myself. So I completely understand those things. There are a lot of hobbies that he has that I don't have, and hobbies that I have that he doesn't have, and that's okay. He's a lot older than me. I haven't said anything about this yet in any of my videos. I've only made a couple videos so far. He's 30 years older than me.
Whoa. Mind blown.
Been together a long time, almost a decade. We have much more in common than we don't have in common. So those things are okay. Like if your wife likes going to all these events and you don't, then that should be perfectly fine. She needs to learn how to accept that, dude.
I've learned to have a good time. Would I always want her there? Yes. And by the way, Robin, I could give 2 boxes of farts what other people think. And now over time, people know Delony's wife doesn't get in mosh pits. Most wives don't get in mosh pits, right? So I don't care. And at the same time, I would rather have the better part of my butt crack set on fire than go to a couple's wedding shower, right?
Yeah.
So there's that as well. Like Phil being able to say these particular things I don't love. So Robin, you said something at the beginning of this call that I think is really instructive. It was this idea like he needs to step up. I'm looking for the man in my house.
Mm.
And at the same time, you said later on, I really miss my husband.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this. Is this a respect issue for you? Like, are you losing respect for this guy because he just wants to sit around on the couch and when he's off, he just wants to be off and he wants to watch TV and put his feet up? And the only way we get to the truth here is if you tell the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I guess a little bit. I just, I feel like I would do anything and show up for anything for him. And I guess it boils down to him not necessarily caring about my needs or my wants.
So what are your needs here? Because I hear you showing up for Phil, but you show up and you quickly make it the picture you want it to be.
Sure.
Hey, Phil, don't eat that. Hey, that's too many. Are you gonna have another drink? Are you really gonna do that? Why are you bringing that? Like you quickly shift that his time into something that fits your picture. So what's the thing? What are your needs here?
I guess it would boil down to something deeper. Just, him wanting to, like you said, be the man that wants to be a family man. And I know that he's fantastic with our son, but it doesn't seem like he necessarily cares too much about his wife.
There we go.
In the same breath.
And you have to own that you've attached care.
Man.
A demonstration of care.
This woman is driving me bonkers. I can't hardly listen to her. She's annoying me so much.
His wife, to time. And you have attached time to going to other people's requests of y'all.
Yeah, other people's stuff. Other people's stuff. Like, I could understand if you were whining about the fact that your husband doesn't want to go on dates with you anymore. But no, you just want him to be seen with you. Yeah. That's what it is. Like, oh, look at me, look at us. That's what this is.
Realizing those requests as like date nights, even with our child, as social events.
But it's not. It's a social event. It's not a date night because you have your child with you most of the time.
We don't really do that together.
I got that. But
and then you need to start going out once or twice a month together without your kid. Need to make sure you hire a babysitter. It is not that difficult to understand. Okay.
So for me to learn that for the last 20 years, I travel a lot for work and for speaking and all that kind of stuff. And I'd always tell my wife, hey, why don't you just come with me? We can double dip. Somebody else is paying for the flights and the hotels. It's amazing. And she finally said, you are at work when you're there. You're different in the hotel. You're different out in public. You're different in the airports. And I didn't realize that. And that's why I asked Phil, like this, do you become somebody?
And can I give just a couple examples? I know we're probably running low on time.
Yeah, give me one.
Okay. So our cousin, they were just in town visiting for like a week. It was awesome. We had a blast. And we went to, we were going to go, stay at the lake all day, went fishing and, fun stuff. And like half the time we were there, she just went off fishing by herself, and it was totally cool. I was having a blast with my son. We were, canoeing around, just, having fun. And then at like the end of the day, he was throwing a fit because she went to go get the car and he wanted to go with her. I was like, oh, I'll just go get the car. And she like kind of snapped, said, no, I need a moment alone. I was like, but you've literally been alone like all day. Like, and so like she's kind of,
dude,
like one picture, like, oh, she feels like a single parent when she feels alone. But on the end, when we go to these things and we do things together, it's like I'm kind of almost a single parent, I guess, is one way I guess I would describe it.
And I would tell you that what y'all are describing, the roles are reversed, but it's exactly the conversation my wife and I had, which is, John, when I go to these things with you, you disappear.
I feel the same too for other events.
Sure.
Like if it's for him, then I'm left. Or just like with his birthday party, it's like, where's my husband? I need help. Where's my husband? I need help.
So she fished all day long, and then got mad whenever he was like, "Yeah, can you watch him?" And she's like, "No, I just need a moment to myself." What is wrong with this woman? Why does she keep pawning the kid off on him? It sounds like she doesn't want to spend any time with her child at all.
It's like a bunch of blaming going back and forth.
That's right. So here's
no. It sounds like you don't want to spend any time with your baby.
Things I'm going to give you to start off with, okay? Or 3 things, all right? For whatever it's worth, I think y'all are exactly where you should be. And I think your marriage is strong and it's going to be amazing. Okay?
I wouldn't be so sure. Like, if she can't get her head out of her own butt, then no.
Like, I don't want y'all to feel like y'all are at some weird crossroads or this is the end. This happens all the time. It happened in my house. It happened in my house more recently than I would like to admit. It comes up every 3 or 4 or 5 years. People in the booth, we were all talking about it. Like, this happens to every one of us, okay? The challenge number 1 is I want y'all to begin to, and I say this all the time, this is a perfect living example of this. Cousins coming into town, we're going to go to the lake. Y'all sit down together for 20 minutes and say, hey, what does your picture of this weekend look like? Because Phil has a picture in his head. We're going to the lake. We're going to be all in the canoe together. We're going to be fishing. And Robin has a picture in her head. I'm going to pick up a rod and reel and I'm going to go catch me some fish. And so
she didn't though.
Do what?
No.
Oh.
And in the same breath, though, I would rather be in the canoe all together.
Right.
But
I want you to say that up front. Because you don't say it. Phil hops in, doesn't want to bother you because you're fishing. I'm just going to take the kid, let Robin have her time. And often, I don't want to over gender stereotype, but often men try to solve.
I know that this isn't his point, but like he just pointed out, she had been fishing all day long. And then it's like, no, you expect me to have him all day. No. What is it with, This has become a common theme where women do not want to be mothers. That's what I'm hearing from this woman. Everything in this call is telling me that she does not want to be a mother. It just sounds terrible. I feel bad for the little baby. I feel bad for the 4-year-old because she keeps pawning the baby off on the husband every time you turn around. That's awful.
Stuff by just doing the next thing, the next task. And often women want time. And not just we're sitting by each other flipping through our phones, but we have some sort of, we are in the same space together. And even if, like, I've got to go be a bridesmaid, I need you out in the audience. Which to me sounds like I'm coming to be an ornament. And so if you want me to go to the wedding, like, what's your picture of this wedding look like? Well, I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be doing this. I need you just in the audience. Actually, I'd rather you tell them that I was staying home with the kids so that you can have a great time. And your friends will understand that. And if you are wanting to use Phil and as some sort of, look, everybody, look how great everything is. I'm gonna challenge you, Robin, to not use him in that way.
Right.
If, on the other hand, I've asked my wife to come to a couple of live events of mine, we barely talk. But there's something that anchors me into granite when I look out an audience and I see my wife there. I know it's gonna be all right. And so those are rare, very, very rare. But I'm specific when I say, hey, here's my picture for this. You don't have to talk to anybody. If you'll just show up, I'll save you a seat on the front row or off to the side. And she'll say, can you save me on the very, very, very back row? And I'll say, yeah, I can do that. But then the other thing is, I've had to make peace. My wife doesn't like punk rock shows.
Right.
And I love her, and that's the person I married, and I'm okay with that. I've had to do the work of saying, okay, what's the substitute? I'm gonna take my buddies. I'm gonna make some new friends. And Phil, sometimes it's you saying, if I say yes, I am gonna be the funnest, even if you have to play, pretend. But saying yes, I'm gonna go, and then just being like that my wife calls it the Sunday afternoon dad, like just that bear. Like nobody get around me, but then you can say, I went, but you weren't really. Like if you go, just go. Just go. And if you have to get one of those apps and start like interviewing babysitters out in Bend, then I would suggest you do that.
Yes.
Because it feels like your kid right now is a proxy for like a gap in your relationship. It's an excuse because we have to deal with, I miss my husband, and this is what I feel like this looks like, and I just can't go to another wedding. I don't want to go sit in the heat and chase a 4-year-old around. Does that resonate at all?
Yes.
Robin, what about you?
Yeah, I think there's deeper.
There is.
There's deeper things with it, but yeah.
Yeah, there's deeper things there. You thought he was going to be on your side. That's what you thought. Why women automatically assume that somebody is going to be on their side is hilarious. Whenever it comes to this, no, you can tell that she's really annoyed. You need to learn how to be a better mother. And if you want time with your husband, then you need to make time with your husband and say, let's just go out and we'll get a babysitter. And then, instead of us going to all these social events, how about we do something as a family? That's what I'm not hearing here. I'm not hearing that all three of them are going and doing things as a family. It sounds like she's just wanting to do all this social crap with her friends and then gets mad when he wants to go off and do something or wants to stay home because she gets tired of it because it's something that she does all the time, right? But yet she gets time to herself and he doesn't get hardly any time for himself. So she's a very selfish woman. I'm just beating a dead horse at this point. I can't stand women that devalue their men in that way, that they treat them like an ornament and then they try to pawn the kid off on them or men that do the same. It doesn't matter who's doing it. It's wrong. You guys need a babysitter. And you need to become a better mother because you keep just pushing your kid toward your husband and it's not right. You need to be more self-aware because you have no self-awareness, it sounds like, from this call at all. So that's all I've got. I'm just not a fan of these women who think that everything is supposed to go their way because you have to compromise and you need to do better. Do better. I'll see you next time. Bye.